comments out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Wednesday night that finds the Jaguars back at the Miller Electric Center getting ready for the New York Football Jets. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Everbank Stadium. I was down at the Miller Electric Center earlier today, went inside the Jaguar locker room, and we will bring you a couple of those conversations. I had the opportunity to catch up with defensive back Jourdan Lewis and linebacker Dennis Gardeck, and we will play those conversations for you coming up inside of about 20 or 25 minutes from right now. Talked to a couple other guys today as well that we'll hear later in the week on Hacker After Dark. And the vibe I got being in the locker room, being down there at the facility, again, a confident football team, a football team that has won 4 in a row, a football team that has won 5 out of 6, a football team that is a double-digit favorite on Sunday when the 3-10 New York Jets come to Jacksonville. So a lot of thoughts out of the Jaguar locker room, and you will hear my one-on-one chats with Jourdan Lewis and Dennis Gardeck, both guys coming up here inside of about 25 minutes. Also, JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com and Jaguars Radio, had the opportunity to talk with JP as well, and you will hear that conversation towards the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Of course, last night, the Florida Gators on the basketball court lose their 4th game in 9 opportunities. Again, another close one. I mean, good grief. They lost by 6 to Arizona, lost by 4 to TCU, lost by 1 at Duke, and then lost by 4 last night to UConn. That is their last hard non-conference game of the year. They're going to win their next 4 non-conference games leading into SEC conference play. Frustrating, yes, but Florida has been in every game. They just simply can't find a way to win it down the stretch. So we'll certainly spend some time on that. And the Bolles Bulldogs are playing for a state championship as we speak down at Florida International University Pit Bull Stadium against Cardinal Mooney. Last score I had was 7-7. Cardinal Mooney took the opening kickoff, drived it right down for a score. Bolles has answered. Naheem Burrows, the Clemson signee now, with a 50-yard touchdown. We will keep you updated. It has been a long time for Bolles since a state championship. Their head coach, Matt Toblin, has been to numerous state title games, has not been able to get over the hump at both Ponte Vedra and at Bolles, but they've been there an awful lot. They're looking to leave with a W this year. We'll keep you updated between Bolles and Cardinal Mooney in the 2A state championship game in the FHSAA. So we're absolutely loaded, Jacksonville. We are with you until 10 o'clock tonight. And as always, we are happy you are spending part of your Wednesday evening with us. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Really 2 big deals of the night, both Jaguar related. One has to do with the depth of this football team. One has something to do with what I thought about 45 minutes ago as I was driving to the radio station. The depth of this football team. You know, you look at parts of the last 13 games. You think about guys that have missed game, 2 games, 3 games, etc. All right, so let's think about this. Literally everybody on the offensive line, the starting offensive line, Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland, Robert Hainsey, Patrick McCary, Anton Harrison. They've all missed at least 1 game. Brian Thomas Jr. missed time. Brenton Strange has missed time. Parker Washington has missed time. You go to the offense or the defensive side of the ball, rather. Trayvon Walker has missed games. Eric Armstead has missed games. Devin Lloyd has missed games. Shall I go on? Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, Dewey Wingard. I mean, it has been a lot of missed games. This team has been far from healthy the entire year. In fact, there have been a couple of weeks relatively recently where you had 15 or 16 guys on the Wednesday or Thursday injury report. I mean, this has been a banged up football team. They have been far from healthy. And despite that, the Jaguars are 9-4 and sit third in the AFC with a game lead in the AFC Southern Division. You look today, and I'll give my buddy Ryan O'Halloran credit for this. This is where I saw it. But it really speaks volumes. You have to go back to the beginning of October. October the 6th, I believe, is what O'Halloran tweeted out earlier. For the last practice or walkthrough where everybody that is not on season-ending IR was on the practice field. And that happened today. Now, some guys were limited. I believe there was a guy or two in a non-contact jersey, but everybody was out there. I mean, everybody was out there. If you're not on season-ending IR, you were on the practice field today. And, of course, the only three guys on season-ending IR are two rookies, Caleb Ransaw and, of course, Travis Hunter, and also Joshua Cephas. Remember that from training camp? Those are the three guys that were not out there. Jalen McLeod, the sixth rounder from Auburn, is still on IR. Doubt we'll see him this year. But everybody else, for the first time in over 2 months, was on the practice field today in some capacity. Well, now that makes you start to wonder a little bit, doesn't it? If the Jaguars are 9-4 with wins over the likes of the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Colts, the 49ers, the Panthers, all of which have at least 6 wins, and you've done that with as injured and banged up as this team has been at times, boy, you start thinking a little big, right? You start dreaming a little bit more, knowing this team is as healthy now as they have been in over 2 months. So that's one of the big deals of the night. The other one is one I thought about because I just left Little Hack School. Christmas play tonight. Was one of the wise men. Very proud of my guy. Got up there, spoke into the microphone like a champion. Really got after it. Very proud dad moment for me earlier tonight over there at Christ Church Academy. And one of the things that I talked about with a lot of parents out there, some faculty, they all listen to 1010XL, and we certainly appreciate that. Everybody's saying, yeah, Jaguars are good, but, you know, I'm waiting for them to hit that wall. I'm waiting for something bad to happen. And I even talked about it with Baloo no more than 15 minutes ago with the guy, Brian, I believe, that texted his show that was like, yeah, they're 9-4, but they're playing backups, and they're doing this, and they're doing that, and I don't know. Trevor Lawrence, is he really the guy? Look, to me, here's as cut and dry as I can make this. I have never been one to be confused for sunshine and rainbows. I hope that is at least something you appreciate about me. When this team has sucked over the last 15 years, I have come on either Hacker After Dark or XL Prime Time or whatever show I've been on at that given juncture, and I've told you that they sucked. And some of you didn't like the negativity. I like to call it reality. I called it what it was. So I'm never one, at least I don't think, that has blown smoke at you about the Jaguars in a positive way. I'll say this about the 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars. At what point are we just simply going to realize that this team is good? right? When are we going to realize that? When are we going to say, man, they could have dropped the ball going to Nashville on Thanksgiving week and could have overlooked the Titans, and they won that game by 20. Or after that collapse against Houston, you come back and you play Herbert and Harbaugh and the Chargers. Chargers want revenge from that playoff disaster a couple of years ago. Well, Jacksonville beat them by, 29? Well, you're playing Indianapolis, right? They haven't won here in 11 years. Beat the streak, right? The defense over there is great. Jonathan Taylor, the leading rusher in the NFL. Yep, Jacksonville beat them by 19. Oh, they've never beat Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Kansas City's always had their number. They're not going to win on Monday Night Football. Yeah, Jaguars won that one too. Yeah, the Jaguars don't win on the West Coast. Never have, never will. Only won 4 games in the Pacific time zone in franchise history. Yeah, they've won 3 this year. Las Vegas, Arizona, and San Francisco. Look, I know how easy it is to think about the past, to reminisce about the past, and understand how much awful stuff you have had to go through as Jaguar fans. And quite frankly, we have had to go through as 1010XL on-air personalities. You think it was fun in 2020 to come in and do those fifth quarters after 15 consecutive losses? You think Leon and I had a blast coming in here after loss 8, 9, 10 in a row? I mean, what are we going to talk about when the team loses 10, 11, 12 games in a row? That was awful. 2021, the Urban Meyer year, that was awful. You know, fans have suffered. Quite frankly, media personalities in this city have suffered. It's been a terrible product by and large for a long time here. And I've been as skeptical about this as a lot of people, maybe more so than a lot of people. I'm at the point now on December 10th, 2025, where I'm just going to admit this. And it's something very simple. And maybe if you admit it, you'll take a deep breath and you'll feel better about the situation. You can maybe enjoy the last month of the year. The Jacksonville Jaguars are just good. They are good this year. Say it yourself. Kind of takes a load off if you're a Jaguar fan. Take a deep breath. They're good. It's the 4th time in the history of the franchise that they have won at least 9 of their first 13 games. They play an awful Jets team. They play an awful Titans team at home in the last month. They play Indianapolis, who has a grandfather at quarterback. And they have potentially a very big game next week with the Denver Broncos. Could they falter? Sure. Any NFL team can. But could they continue this run they're on? You bet. And why could they do that? Say it with me. Because they're just simply good. The Jaguars are a good football team. In 2025, and my advice to you, don't look for the negative. We've had enough of that over the last 2 decades. Enjoy this. Because as a Jaguar fan, especially if you never left your fandom despite the awfulness of the last 2 decades, you have earned the right to support a good football team. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts always welcome here on a Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Coming up next, I was down in the Jaguar locker room earlier today. Got a chance to go one-on-one with both Jordan Lewis and Dennis Gardeck, and you will hear those conversations right here on a Wednesday night. It's Hacker After Dark. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
The tape doesn't lie, and neither does he. Jeff Lockeman breaks down the film and shares his insights with you Tuesdays during football season on Jaguars Today. Check the Tape Tuesday. Checked by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday, off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
Look around and we know you've got options for gasoline, but those other places, they're not in the business of more. At Shell, that's what you get every day. Members get more rewards, more savings, more special offers. You'll even get 10 cents per gallon off of your first fill when you sign up, and save on every fill after that. Choose to get more and more with every drive. Join the Shell Fuel Rewards program today at fuelrewards.com. Offer valid at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information.
He's a beast in the trenches and a baller off the field. Eric Armstead joins Helmets and Heels with Tom McManus, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl. Fridays at 3. Kept healthy by orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville on 1010XL.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, I'm worried.
You? Really? About what?
Well, I like to have a little seasonal potluck. You know, invite some friends and neighbors and guys from the office. But if the food gets spicy and the party gets rocking and that old toilet in the two-piece can't handle the traffic, well, what if my drain backs up right in the middle of everything?
Dude, imagine you're wearing my sunglasses.
Okay. Shoomp. Whoa.
If you're planning to host a holiday party and a blocked household drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, call us and tell us. The drain clearing experts at Bueller Aaron Plumbing will unclog your drain for free.
You do that for free?
It's Christmas.
Yeah, but for free?
The holidays can get pretty hectic. If a clogged drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Prosser here, and with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. So don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out your high-interest debt. 904-999-1508. And you can see how much cash you can get today. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the town, no gifts for the ladies could truly be found. They hinted at diamonds, at sparkle and bling, but chain store price tags made wallets go cha-ching. Then what to their wondering eyes should appear but Beard's Diamonds, so sparkling, so near. No risk, no regret, no big corporate chain, just family-run brilliance that eases the strain. Beard's Diamonds is local, with prices that please. Better diamonds, more choices, and warranties with ease. More carat, more fire, more glow for the price. Shop Beards, wrap it up, steal kisses twice.
Are you looking to make some Christmas magic this year? Get her the perfect gift from Beard's Diamonds. The largest selection of rings, pendants, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, new designer and fashion, all at the guaranteed best prices from the town center's only locally owned jeweler. And now during our 44th anniversary sale, you save as much as 44% store-wide. Let Beard's non-commissioned experts help you find the perfect gift. From one Jacksonville family to another, Merry Christmas from Beard's Diamonds, St. John's Town Center.
This is the home of the Florida Gators. Get your Gators hoops on 1010XL. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us till 10 o'clock. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. The Bulls Bulldogs in the 2A state championship game right now down in South Florida. They do trail Cardinal Mooney. Denmark 13-7 is what I have. Is that accurate? 13-7. Cardinal Mooney over Bulls in the second quarter. We will keep you updated as the Bulldogs look to bring a state championship back to Duval County. Speaking of Duval County, the Jacksonville Jaguars were back at work at the Miller Electric Center earlier today, getting ready for the New York Jets. Sunday, 1 o'clock. You will hear the game right here on 1010XL. I do want to tell you as well, the coach Gerald Ingram will be off this week, but myself and Leon Searcy will have the fifth quarter for you on Sunday, and we will be live. Hurricane Grill and Wings in the Julington Creek area. Hurricanes in Julington Creek, roughly 6 o'clock. Start time on Sunday, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Jets go final. So I know you folks in Mandarin, St. Johns County, if you want to come out, hang out with us, hopefully celebrate a Jaguar victory on Sunday. We're looking forward to being out there Sunday evening after the Jaguars and the Jets go final. I was in the locker room at the Miller Electric Center earlier today, had an opportunity to go one-on-one with a couple of the guys, including defensive back Jordan Lewis. What a free agent signing Jordan Lewis has been for this football team. Terrific. Absolutely terrific. A home run free agent signing by general manager James Gladstone. We talked about the Jets. We talked about the lack of respect. Here's my conversation with Jaguar defensive back Jordan Lewis.
All right, 1010XL down here in the Jaguar locker room. We got Jaguar DB Jordan Lewis with us here on 1010XL. Jordan, how the walkthrough go out there today?
Went well. Just the attention to detail was really good, and we just, we didn't really go full speed, but we played in some, our football leverages and our football stances, and just walked through. So it looked like everybody was locked in, and we ready for this game on Sunday.
4 in a row, 5 out of 6. What's going so right for this team right now?
We're gelling together. We're real close as a team. One, we trust each other to do each other's job. That 111th, we take that very seriously, and we just, we understand what the coaches want us to do. We understand what Kent wants to do on defense. We understand what Coach Leon wants to do on offense. So looks like everybody's gelling in the right positions. On the right time, and understanding how we want to play ball. So it's really a good look, and like you always say, man, it's cliche, but it's really true. You want to be playing your best ball around this time, and I think we're doing that.
The depth on this team has really shown through all year. Now all of a sudden everybody's getting healthy. I think today was the first day in a long time where everybody was out on the practice field in some capacity. How good does that feel to have everybody getting ready to go?
From the get-go, we had really good depth, and when they need to step up, the guys need to step up. They stepped up. So now we have those guys, and the guys are getting healthy too. So it's a big plus. It's just gonna make our football team better. Just preparing, and during the game too, just everybody locked in. Situationally, and it's gonna add packages on defense, especially for guys that's healthy and been playing well. Like AJ Johnson, and it's really good, man, to see that we have everybody healthy and we're playing some of our best ball right now.
It's a big topic with the fan base because Liam has talked about it. People are talking about Houston nationally, New England, Denver. Jacksonville's 9-4. The whole lack of respect thing—that's real in this locker room, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, you want to be noticed as one of the best, but at the same time, I always think about just doing my job and taking it one day at a time, and dominating people. I want to dominate people, and that's it. Doesn't matter what anybody's record is. I want to go out there and dominate them. So regardless of anybody comes in and they talking about the Houston Texans and they 7-9, 9-10, whatever they are, man, we coming in there and we going out there trying to dominate them. So that's just my thought process. I'm not really thinking about that, but of course, it's a slight, but. Can't think about that too much. You got to go out there and prepare and execute.
Final question: back at home on Sunday, Jets coming in, fans are fired up. I know you guys are probably fired up to get back out there in front of the home crowd.
Absolutely. We watched some tape on the Jets, and they have a good offense, man. They can make some plays, and they've been in some close games against some really good teams. So we just got to be prepared for whatever they throw at us. And be ready to, go out there, like I said, go out there and try and dominate the guys. That's what we want to go out there and do, especially in front of our fans, and put on the show.
Jordan, best of luck Sunday. We'll be watching.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go, Jordan Lewis here on Hacker After Dark. Again, and you talk about, some of the veterans that have been brought in. And this was a big topic in training camp. In the past, the Jaguars have gone out and brought in the 25, 26, 27-year-old free agents. Well, you look at what they did this year. Jordan Lewis, the guy I'm about to talk to, Dennis Gardeck. You bring DeJuan Smoot back. You go out and you trade for Jacoby Myers, right? You bring in an Austin Johnson, and you can go on down the line with guys like that. I mean, Johnny Munt's another one. I love the, mixing and matching of young guys with the vets, and it has worked wonders here in Jacksonville. You don't need 53 25-year-olds, right? You don't need 53 guys under the age of 30. Eric Murray's another vet that has been very good when he's been available. I love what Gladstone did in that regard, and Jordan Lewis is a prime example of that. I'll tell you another prime example is Dennis Gardeck. Dennis Gardeck, remember, he wasn't even signed here in the first wave of free agency. I want to say Gardeck and Dewan Smoot both came in like May, because Gardeck had an ACL last year. Remember, he was inactive for the first portion of training camp, recovering from that ACL. I mean, Dennis Gardeck's 31 years old. The guy's a beast, man. I mean, I love everything about Dennis Gardeck's game. I know most of you Jaguar fans do as well. And, in fact, I'm going to talk with him about that because earlier on inside the Jaguar locker room, I did go one-on-one with Dennis Gardeck, and here is that conversation on Hacker After Dark.
All right, inside the Jaguar locker room on 1010XL, we got Jaguar defensive player Dennis Gardeck here with us, getting ready for the New York Jets on Sunday. Dennis, how'd the walkthrough go out there today?
Another good Wednesday. Everybody's locked in, communicating, and attention to detail is high.
Dennis, 4 in a row, 5 out of 6 for this team. What is going so right now? Why is the wins just seem to be rattled off week in and week out right now?
I think it starts with what we're doing on Wednesdays, being locked in, intentional, detailed in our assignments, and then we're also coming together as a team. We're playing for each other, and it's clear when you turn on the tape.
You look at the defensive side of the ball, best rush defense in the National Football League. Let's begin right there. What is working so well right now? You guys stopping the run at a best clip in the league.
That was a slide that was put up early on in OTAs on the identity of the defense and who they're going to be. I know I came later onto the scene, but it's a slide that we've seen over and over again. And I think when it becomes who you are as a defense, you just find ways to stop the run.
Similar question. You guys also are getting after the quarterback. A lot of sacks in the last couple of weeks. What's working well there?
Yeah, I think that's front and coverage working well together. Secondary being able to buy us the time to get home, and then we're winning up front at a high clip.
Final moments with Dennis Gardeck. You being a veteran in this league, you've obviously been in a lot of locker rooms. This seems like a really tight locker room. The adversity at the beginning of the year, guys are getting healthy now at the right time. There's got to be a level of excitement in here moving forward.
Absolutely. I think that excitement starts with being excited for each other, seeing each other making plays, seeing phenomenal effort on the tape as you're cleaning up what happened the Sunday past. I think guys get excited for each other, and then, yes, obviously winning and getting excited on, what the future can hold. But I think it really starts with being excited for each other.
Final question. I know you were a fan favorite in Arizona. You're getting that moniker here in Jacksonville. We take a lot of calls from fans. We hear Gardeck's a madman. Gardeck's an animal. Just talk about your playing style. The Jaguar fans are really enjoying seeing it.
I wish I knew what to say. I only know one way to play football, and that's hair on fire. Try to get to the ball. That's what defense is, stopping the forward progress of the ball and being able to get the ball back to the offense. So I don't feel like there's something I say I'm trying to do. For me, I'm just playing football, and that's hair on fire and get the guy that has it.
It's been fun to watch. Best of luck on Sunday against the Jets.
Thank you.
There you go, Dennis Gardeck with us here on Hacker After Dark. That guy's a beast, man. I knew who he was because, watching Arizona games, I didn't know that much about him. And when the Jaguars signed him, I thought it was interesting because I knew he had an ACL last year. But he has come back from that. He has rehabbed from that, and he has been very similar to Jordan Lewis. I mean, how much more could you ask for from a guy like Dennis Gardeck? He has been a phenomenal phenomenal acquisition by this football team. Again, just goes to show you it doesn't need to be a 26-year-old free agent. You can bring guys in 30, 31 years of age, and they can make a huge, not a big impact, dare I say a huge impact with this football team. I look at Gardeck, I look at Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, the trading of Jacoby Myers, just prime examples of that. And again, thank you to both Jordan Lewis and Dennis Gardeck for going one-on-one with me earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center inside the Jaguar locker room. Again, Jaguars and the Jets, Sunday, 1 o'clock. If you missed this, so New York, I watched the Aaron Glenn press conference. Keep in mind, they're 3-10, right? They've already been eliminated from playoff contention. They have won 3 out of their last 6, for whatever that's worth. They started 0-7. They've gone 3-3 over the last 6 games. But earlier today, Justin Fields did not practice. Tyrod Taylor did not practice. And the Jets actually signed a quarterback in Adrian Martinez, which would lead you to believe, since they brought a quarterback in, that it will likely be undrafted free agent Brady Cook that could potentially start here on Sunday for the Jets against the Jaguars. Now, Brady Cook came in last week for the Jets against Miami after Tyrod Taylor left. Let me pull up his numbers from last week. It was very similar to Riley Leonard, right? A rookie coming in, getting really his first playing time. That could absolutely happen for the Jaguars again, going up against their opponent. So last week, the Jets lost 34-10 to the Miami Dolphins. And by the way, it wasn't even really that close. Brady Cook came in, went 14 of 30 for 163 yards and 2 interceptions. He also had 1 carry for 0 yards. Now, he will get the starting reps this week if they know he's going to play, which will be valuable for a young kid like that. But let's be honest here. I mean, let's call it what it is. If the New York Jets are starting Brady Cook in Everbank Stadium on Sunday in a game that is vitally important for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you have to win that game. It's more than a must-win. It is an absolute necessity to take advantage of that, and it certainly appears that is the direction it's headed with both Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields not practicing earlier today in New York. Let's talk more about the Jaguars and the Jets, and let's look big picture on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The 9-4, first place in the AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars. My buddy JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com. You hear him all over Jaguars radio. Let's talk about the Jaguar season that has been. Let's take a look ahead at hopefully what is to come. And what about JP every week on Jaguars HQ, getting a chance to chat with both Tony Baselli and James Gladstone? I think that Jaguars HQ show has been fantastic this year. JP runs it every week. We'll talk about all of it, and that's coming up next. JP Shadrick with me on Hacker After Dark on a Wednesday night here in Northeast Florida, and we're glad you're with us. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
Flipping flapjacks and football on your game day. I smell bacon. On the Terminix Kickoff Show. Live from Tailgaters Parking. Presented by Campione Law and American Electrical Contracting. 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here, and the holidays are upon us. And one of the great things about Awaken 180 is they understand that life happens. I talk about the coaching that you get. When you're on the program, you meet every week with a coach. And when it's the holiday season, I remember when I was knee-deep in Awaken 180, you talk to your coach about things that are going on, family get-togethers, what's happening, and you come up with a plan. Look, Awaken 180 knows that life continues, man. You want to enjoy yourself for the holiday season, and that's totally fine. Awaken 180 will make a plan for you. They will make a strategy for you, and they will put you on the right track to not only enjoy yourself, but certainly to continue your weight loss journey. No medications, no injections. It's just all natural. Go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800.
Make this Christmas unforgettable with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. A fusion of rock and classical with a heartwarming Christmas tale. December 11th, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where did I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A., member FDIC.
The holidays are just around the corner, and so is your entire family.
Babe, the toilet's growling at me again.
Uh-oh, the kitchen sink just turned into Old Faithful. There's no hot water!
Don't let plumbing chaos steal your holiday cheer. Call Duck Duck Rooter today to fix those issues before Aunt Linda blames you for ruining Christmas dinner. Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, adorable mascot for Checkmate Coatings.
If you're thinking of refinishing your garage floor, there's two things you need to know about us. My family has been in the concrete coatings industry for more than 40 years.
And I was drawn 6 months ago by an artist in New Jersey.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, you said 40 years experience, so I had to give them something.
Over the years, we've worked closely with major manufacturers to develop a multi-layer application process that creates beautiful, durable, and long-lasting floors.
So even decades from now, your garage floor will look as gorgeous as it did the day it was installed.
Experience?
Check. Durable?
Check. Decades of experience making garage floors gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
Hey, is your home ready for the holidays? Hick in here. Spots are filling up fast. Lock in yours today at ZeroResJacksonville.com and get 20% off all hard surface cleaning, tile and grout, hardwood, LVP. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res.
If you're at home on the range, tee it up with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Tour news, local updates, and the latest gear. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Jets, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars 9-4 on the year in first place in the AFC South. Let's look back on the big win over Indianapolis. Let's take a big picture view at the AFC playoffs, and let's certainly preview the New York Jets with my buddy JP Shadrick. You hear him on Jaguars Radio, you see him on Jaguars.com, and JP's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. JP, how you doing, man?
Hacker, doing well. It's hard to be doing bad at 9-4 and in first place. I'll tell you that.
There's no doubt. And JP, the win over Indianapolis, we'll get to that in a moment. But man, you're in that building every day, and you've been in that building every day for basically a decade plus. I get to go in there once a week, and even when I'm in there, the brief times during the week, it just feels like a different atmosphere. I mean, everything just feels different since Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, and Tony Baselli arrived. We'll get to the wins and losses on the field, but what those three guys have done really to this organization in a very short amount of time.
No doubt. I mean, they changed the standard of what a Jaguar should be. That was the number one priority in the offseason, establish what it is, and you have certain parameters and the types of people you want around the organization and in the building. And obviously they did a good job in the offseason of bringing in some key contributors in free agency. The draft picks, we're still waiting a little bit because of the injury situation for them to really step in. But I think in the coming years, you'll see some more of those. The next couple draft classes, they'll start bringing in more of the guys that they really want to contribute in certain ways on both sides of the football here. So, so far so good. And you know what? Liam Cohen, there are a lot of questions about him. First-year coach, don't know much about him. I don't know if any other team interviewed him. Now you see why Tampa Bay wanted him around so much. He's got that energy to him. He's got that fire to him. He's detailed, and he can relate to the players. It's pretty clear that is being picked up in the locker room, and it's been fantastic to see, and the growth in this team and their buy-in as the weeks have gone along. And he has the right level of intensity and the right level of chippiness to go with it too. I don't know if I think he likes the fact that he can throw out some of this disrespect stuff late in the season, and I don't think he has any issues doing it. And it's gonna, so far so good, because it's worked the last few weeks.
Well, again, JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com, Jaguars Radio, and I was gonna go there next. I mean, Liam Cohen is obviously not from Jacksonville. He's lived here for 10 months now, but he's picked up the vibe of this fan base awfully quick, man. I mean, he's saying into the microphone what this fan base has been saying for years about the disrespect, and Liam Cohen in the fans' eyes can do no wrong right now.
No doubt. And you know what? His point is, it doesn't matter. Like, we don't need the respect as long as we win games. They're going to have to do it in playoffs. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. So just keep doing your thing here. And you don't have to be on every tweet and every headline on TV, and you're just not going to be that way until you prove it year over year over year. And that's fine. You know what? They can forget about it. And it's been useful the last couple of weeks, and I'm sure it's going to be useful moving ahead. Any little morsel of being left out of a conversation of any kind in the playoff race, I don't think they're going to hide it. Let's put it that way. They're going to put it out there front and center for this team to see.
JP, Trevor Lawrence was awfully good in the win over the Indianapolis Colts. And if you go back to the Titans game, 4 touchdowns, no picks, probably his 2 best games of the year. Why are things beginning to slow down maybe for Trevor in this offense?
Well, I mean, it's a combination to me. Right before all that was the conversation between he and Liam Cohen that Cohen told him to just let it rip a little bit more and relax and just let it fly, man. We need some deep stuff down the field, and trust your guys and trust your preparation. And hey, an interception here or there, if it's in a tight window, okay, you know what? Keep playing, and that's fine. And that seems to go into when Trevor Lawrence plays at his best, when there's a danger zone there, and maybe he'll throw a couple of picks, but then he'll throw a couple touchdowns, right, and battle back in the game. So the wristband helped the pre-snap issue where they were getting to the line late. It felt like in the game this past week, Hacker, that they were getting plays off with like 10 seconds to go on the play clock. Plenty of time, no rush. A lot of the pre-snap stuff has now gone away, the penalty issues, and I think that has a lot to do with them streamlining the process before the snap. And then part of it, too, is just the comfortability and the confidence behind this offensive line. It takes some time to grow. And now he's just had his 4th game without a sack. And I think it's the 2nd game this year where they haven't even had a hit on the quarterback. And the Colts were bringing pressure all day and couldn't get to him. So I think that confidence is growing there for him to be able to step into throws down the field and get to the line early to execute everything. It's all coming together at the right time.
Couple of more for JP Shadrick of Jaguars.com and, of course, Jaguars Radio. JP, Brian Thomas Jr. started to look like the Brian Thomas Jr. that we saw last year in the win over Indianapolis. 3 catches total, 2 amazing catches, including the one-hander down the sideline. Boy, if BTJ gets going with the emergence of Jakobi Meyers and when Parker Washington gets back, Brenton Strange. I mean, I know they don't have Travis Hunter, and you lump Tim Patrick in as well. Even despite not having Hunter, this offense could be pretty prolific down the stretch here.
And we were talking about this on Happy Hour on Monday with Pete Prisco and Austin Lane. You know, they've only had those big 4 together on the field for one game, and part of one game, the Tennessee game a couple weeks ago. Parker Washington got hurt in that game. The rest of the guys finally played. They've been kind of staggered out with injuries, or Jakobi Meyers wasn't on the team yet, so they really haven't had their full arsenal of receivers together on the field for Trevor Lawrence. So hoping this week Parker Washington can make his way back on the field to make that a reality again. And you're right about BTJ. And think about the year he's had. Remember early in the season, he didn't want to run over the middle and couldn't catch a cold, and then just kept playing, and then had the ankle issue. He's off to the side for a couple weeks, and then comes out after the ankle injury and looks like the same old BTJ from last year again. Okay, a couple of balls down the field. That's cool to see. And if they have that over-the-top threat consistently, then it opens everything up for Myers, for Strange, and then in the running game too. I mean, it just changes the whole dynamic of how you have to defend this group, especially with a confident Trevor Lawrence. Confidence, in the O-line, but confidence that his guy's going to be able to go over the middle and make a catch when he has to. So that's all growing the right way.
JP, I want to talk big picture in a moment. Quickly to the defensive side of the ball. You know, there was a conversation not all that long ago how this defense was just simply not affecting the opposing quarterback. And then the bye week happened. And really, since the bye week, these last 5 or 6 games, I mean, good grief, man. Hines Allen is playing terrific. You're getting production from young guys like Strigal, B.J. Green, Trayvon Walker's back in the equation. Gardeck has been a man possessed out there at times. You really like what Campanile is doing on the defensive side of the ball if you're a Jaguar fan.
Yeah, and I think you said a lot of it right there. Who are these guys? Some of these guys, right? I mean, they're not household names. You got 2 undrafted players that have contributed in a big way on this defensive line. They love Strigo. I mean, I think they love him for the long term. He has really made an impact in their minds, I think, this year. And we'll see what the future holds moving ahead for him. That's a great start to his career. And remember, he was inactive like the first 5 weeks of the season. Didn't even play because he was the undrafted guy that just didn't make the roster or the game day lineup or the game day roster. So that's a good thing. Josh Hines Allen's playing at a very high level right now. Trayvon Walker on basically a hand and a half and 1 knee last week goes out with 6 tackles and a tackle for loss and 4th down play and proves, I mean, not that he had to, but he shows again that he's a fantastic all-around football player. And he may not be the genuine edge rusher that everybody looks at the stats about, but he can make an impact, especially in the running game. And they needed that last week. And to have him back in the fold is huge. We'll see what Eric Armstead week to week has with this hand issue. He played just a limited amount of snaps last week. But they're getting after it. They're getting after it with some pressures, too. Devin Lloyd has been key in the blitz game to not only maybe him to get home, but open it up for others around him. So they've been able to design a lot of things. So Camp, I think, has done a fantastic job with not a full arsenal week to week, but they're the number 1 rush defense in the NFL. There's no doubt about it now after last week and shutting down Jonathan Taylor.
Final moments with JP Shadrick. All right, from a big picture view, JP, I remember the 4th quarter in Houston. I remember driving in to do the 5th quarter, listening to you and Mike and Brian on the post game. My head was in a fog. It seemed like you guys were just like, what happened? I mean, that was unbelievable. And that was a moment where that could have been a derailing of the season. I couldn't help but think about Chicago and the Hail Mary in 2024 when they lost to Washington. That Hail Mary basically ended their season, that one moment. And I'm sitting here thinking, my goodness, could this 4th quarter in Houston be our Chicago from last year? And since that moment, the Jaguars have won 4 in a row. And JP, they've crushed 3 of their opponents, where Nick Mullins was taking snaps in the fourth quarter against the Chargers, the Titans, and the Colts. Why do you think this team has been able to respond to that adversity the way they did?
I mean, yeah, you're going to have to put Nick Mullins in the injury report with a knee issue with all these victory formations dealing down. I mean, that's what's going on right now, kid, of course. No, it could go one or two ways in a game like that, and I think that talks to the leadership again of this football team, the coaching staff, but also in that locker room. Hey, yeah, we blew this game, 19-point lead in the fourth quarter. Which way are we going to go? There's a lot of football left to be played. We're far from out of this thing. Are we going to rally and figure out how to finish games and not make that an excuse anymore around here? Or are we going to collapse? I mean, there's only two ways really to go with that. So they figured out a way to rally and win games and, get better as the season moves along on offense. And the quarterback's gaining confidence and the defense is doing their thing. So that's a good step. Obviously, clearly they're in first place right now, but here's the other part, Hank. That's great. They're doing fine right now. They're 9-4, first place. They haven't clinched a thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
It is not over. I mean, this thing is far from over. Yes, the Jaguars have a favorable matchup this week against the Jets. Then they go to Denver next week. A return trip to Indy. Who knows about their quarterback situation? So, and then Tennessee at the very end. But you got to go execute those games and go play. And, I mean, hey, if Denver loses to Green Bay, then that game is for the number 2 seed in the AFC playoffs, most likely. So there's a lot at stake ahead, but nothing is in the bag yet. So that's why, I mean, this week against the Jets, it's a massive football game because the Jags have to have this game. They cannot waver at all with the Texans coming from behind them. All of a sudden they start sliding, and who knows? I mean, you'd be sitting at home watching on TV if you lose enough of these games. So this is a huge game. They need all the support they can get this week at the bank because there's no such thing as a small, game right now because the playoffs are still a question mark, and they still got to go clinch it.
JP, final question. They are a double-digit favorite against the Jets, a 3-10 Jets team. But it is the NFL, man, right? I mean, we saw New Orleans go into Tampa and win last week, and nobody saw that coming. The Jaguars have to be prepared. But if there is a team in the NFL that at this point knows they can't overlook anybody, doesn't it have to be the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Oh, clearly. I mean, absolutely. You don't overlook any of those teams, and the Raiders nearly did it to them. It was a block pass on a 2-point play to win that game. The Cardinals nearly did it to them. There's all that has nearly happened this year. The Jaguars have overcome against teams that they were allegedly supposed to be much better than, and that's why you play. Now, I'll say this about the Jets: they're on like their third quarterback. They've had 2 takeaways on defense all season, no interceptions. And part of their team has been dismantled with trades away, over the last few weeks. So, right before the deadline. So they're kind of in rebuild mode right now. That's what it is. I don't know if there's any kind of about it. That's what they're doing. They're trying to figure out the core of their team moving forward. And I think if the Jaguars can build an early lead, like they did against Tennessee, couple scores early, just put them out of their misery. Just be done with it. Because if it goes to the second half and it's kind of tight, then there's a little hope. And okay, let's go ruin somebody's day. Just don't even play that game. Just stomp them out while you can and then move on.
You see JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com. You, of course, hear him on Jaguars Radio. JP, I love Jaguars HQ, man. You, Loggeman, and Baselli and Gladstone. That has been phenomenal this year.
No, it really has. It was supposed to be the Liam Cohen show, and Baselli made the change right before the season, and it's been awesome. And we get Coach Cohen in probably every 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so. He'll stop in for a segment, which is great to hear and visit with him. But, yeah, Baselli and Gladstone having direct insight to the guys that are in the room. One of them is making the transactions. We had a trade day. He's on the show with us 2 hours right after the deadline, like an hour after the deadline. So giving us all the insight. So there's all that. It's been fun so far, certainly on Thursdays.
Well, you get JP Shadrick again all over the Jaguars.com. And, of course, you'll hear him Jaguars Radio this Sunday for the Jaguars and the New York Jets. JP, I know you're busy. Thank you as always, and I certainly appreciate you, brother.
Hacker, thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon.
It's the secret sauce of a successful football team.
This is a special group of men.
Each week, Superior Plumbing spotlights the special teams player of the game.
It was complete domination in all three phases.
That's how you win football games.
On 1010XL.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, johnautomotivejacks.com.
The new Ackerman Cancer Center is now open at World Golf Village, providing state-of-the-art screenings and diagnostic exams with no referral required. Same-day appointments are available. Call today or visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast, before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents and will keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a rodent problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online just like I did. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The holiday season is the season of love. If you're getting engaged now or just looking for that unforgettable gift for the woman you love, Beards Diamonds is here for you. This Christmas, Beards is proud to showcase the world's premier designers in both bridal and fashion. Like Crown Ring, engagement rings and bands fit for royalty. Crown Ring brings your dreams to life with a vast selection of styles and spectacular precious metals. Beards is showcasing the entire Crown Ring collection with unmatched craftsmanship, design, and comfort. Beards Diamonds is the town center's local jeweler. So at Beards, you never have to settle for corporate chain store quality. We've put together our best selection ever of exquisite jewelry for the holidays. From the newest designer styles to classic diamond studs and diamond bracelets, with your choice of natural or lab-grown diamonds. Whether your holiday budget is a few hundred or a few $100,000, the experts at Beards will help you find the jewelry that reflects your love. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Lacey, your bar manager here at Fourscore Golf Tavern. We're officially kicking off the holiday season, and both of our locations, San Marco and Gate Parkway, are fully festive and ready for you to enjoy. Make sure you stop by and check out our holiday cocktail menu, lunch, and dinner specials. Happy hour is all day, every Tuesday. The fun continues with 10 top-of-the-line simulators between both locations, offering multiple games in almost every sport you can think of. So gather your group, get in the spirit, and come celebrate at Fourscore, the place to be in Jacksonville for holiday fun.
Hey, it's Rick Ballou. I just upgraded my home with fantastic floors, and the experience was incredible. Rusty and the team brought the showroom to me with their at-home consultation. The whole process was simple, the installation was top-notch, and the results, absolutely fantastic. Take it from me. Don't wait. Visit fanfloors.com and schedule your at-home consultation today. Fantastic Floors, where every step is fantastic.
I know it's football season, but I know you love basketball too. And youth sports are always in season at the First Coast YMCA. Registration is now open for winter basketball at the Y. Today, more than ever, our kids need to experience the joy of being a kid while also learning the importance of teamwork, respect, and healthy living. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, fun environment with an exciting youth basketball league. Learn more at fcymca.org.
This is the home of the Florida Gators. Get your Gators hoops on 1010XL. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Are you
ready. The Jaguars are back at home for the second straight week. Join us at Everbank Stadium Sunday, December 14th, when your Jags take on the New York Jets in our Inspire Change game, celebrating social justice and community impact. Kickoff is at 1 p.m., so bring the energy, bring the noise, and be part of something bigger than the game. Don't wait. Lock in your seats now at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Prosser here, and with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. So don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out your high-interest debt. 904-999-1508. And you can see how much cash you can get today. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, we will talk a little John Sumrall to Florida, a little Mike Norvell staying at Florida State, some transfer portal, and a little college football playoff with my buddy Jesse Simonton. He's covered the world of college football for years. Jesse will join me coming up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Also, Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports, as we will take a look not only at the Jaguars, but the AFC South and the AFC playoff picture. That is all to come here in the 9 o'clock hour. Quickly, the 2A state championship game going on down in South Florida at Pitbull Stadium at FIU. Bolles, who has been nothing short of dominant for the last 2.5 months of this season. Boy, they've run into a buzzsaw tonight. Cardinal Mooney down there, 27-7. Yikes. They lead Bolles at the beginning of the third quarter. Denmark, that would be incredibly unfortunate. And if you're Bolles, I mean, if they don't come back from this, it would be another state title appearance where they come up short. And you got to start asking yourself, at what point, what do you do against teams like that from outside the area? Bolles just dominates teams in our area. Bolles dominates regional playoff action. They have had no trouble at all in the first 4 rounds of the playoffs. They get to the state championship game, and wham, it's happening to them all over again.
Yeah, well, 2 things can be true. Bolles is really good, and Xander's a phenomenal athlete, and they got other D1 players. But this year, 2A was terrible from top to bottom. We all kind of knew that there was a 2-team race in 2A. It was Cardinal Mooney and Bolles, and that's why they're playing the state championship. But I mean, defensively, Cardinal Mooney's just kind of throwing the ball all over the place, and they can do whatever they want. Bolles is moving the ball down the field, but they went down the field on the second drive, missed a field goal. Xander has been, the main person that's been getting their yards, and Bolles was held to like 110 yards in the first half. Bolles the second half just started. Bolles got the ball right now, so they're going to need a touchdown because that defense is going to need some help.
Yeah, Cardinal Mooney, 27-7 over Bolles. It's not looking good for the Bulldogs. And then the Reigns Vikings on Friday night, they are in the 3A state championship game. And the problem there is that's Miami Northwestern. That was Teddy Bridgewater's team last year. Reigns saw them in the state title game, and it went horrible. And by the way, Reigns has been obliterating people, but the problem is so has Miami Northwestern. It's the best from Miami against the best from Jacksonville, And I would think Reigns is probably a pretty decent underdog going into that game on Friday night.
Yeah, it's last year. People are going to look at that 41-0 and say that Miami Northwestern, they're probably going to do it again. That game was 14-0 at half.
It was,
and Reigns got inside the 10 a couple of times. They weren't able to convert.
It got away at the end,
and it got away from them in the third quarter. So I'm interested to see. Reigns, I think, is a better team this year than they were last year. Miami Northwestern, they still got two big receivers, Calvin Russell being the 5-star, 6'5" guy committed to Syracuse. They got another 4-star receiver and a 5-star quarterback. So it's going to be a lot of speed, and I think it's going to be a good game Friday night.
One thing I want to get into as we get back to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, Luke Easterling, Athlon Sports, joins us in less than 15 minutes. So I was down at the Miller Electric Center earlier today, and we were in the media room, and we're kind of just throwing stuff at each other and getting kind of a lay of the land on what everybody here thinks about the Jags and this, that, and the other. And the conversation came up, well, what if Houston overtakes Jacksonville for the AFC South? Which is very plausible, right? I mean, Houston wins out. Jacksonville goes 3-1. Houston's going to win the AFC South based on tiebreakers more than likely. I mean, it's not far-fetched to think Jacksonville could go 12-5 and not win the AFC South. And as I got to thinking about it and the disappointment that people here might have if you don't win the division, and then Denmark, I had a revelation. And again, we're thinking way down the line, but this is what you do this time of year. If your option right now, and again, you'll have many options, but I'm only going to give you two. I'll give you three options, as a matter of fact. I'll give you three options right now. You win the AFC South. Say you get the 2 or the 3 seed, whatever, not the 1, but the 2 or the 3 seed. And your reward for that is a home game here at Everbank Stadium against either Buffalo or Houston. Or if I tell you, you can have Houston win the AFC South, you get in as a wild card, and you go to Pittsburgh on wild card weekend.
That's easy.
Would you rather go to Pittsburgh or have a home game against either Houston or Buffalo?
In that situation, give me Pittsburgh, and it's not even close.
There's no doubt, right? I would absolutely agree with that. We all want to win the AFC South. No question. No question. But in that scenario, if winning the AFC South means you have to play Buffalo here, because Buffalo's probably not winning their division. New England can win the division on Sunday with a win over Buffalo. Buffalo's 2 back with 4 to go in the AFC East. So Buffalo is more than likely going to be a wild card. If you win the South, obviously Houston at that point would be a wild card. And then you have a 66% chance, if you don't get a bye, which I don't think Jacksonville is going to get a bye, you have a 66% chance of seeing either Buffalo or Houston here at Everbank Stadium on Wild Card Weekend. So you are at home for whatever that's worth. Or if you finish 11-6, 12-5, you get the 5 seed, which means you would travel to either Pittsburgh or Baltimore, who will be the 4, the AFC North champion. And let's just say it's Pittsburgh because they lead that division right now. I would absolutely take the road game in that scenario. Absolutely. And that was not the consensus down there today among my media colleagues, but there was certainly more thought about that than the home game. So, look, I know Jaguar fans want to win the division. I get it. I'm with you. The prestige of winning a division.
Well, and you have the opportunity to have 2 home games if you beat Denver next week.
True.
I would take that and run with it.
But so if I give you the 2 seed,
yeah,
but that still means Houston on Wild Card Weekend, you would take that over traveling to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I want to be at home.
Okay, so yeah, I probably wouldn't.
Buffalo's not big bad like they have been. I know Josh Allen's good, but that defense has a lot of holes, and if you get Buffalo on the wrong day, Jacksonville can beat them.
Yeah, and if you get Buffalo on the right day, Josh Allen's going to tear you up.
Yeah, he will.
So, and I just look at it from a Pittsburgh perspective. I would rather play on the road against Pittsburgh on Wild Card Weekend than take my chances at home on Wild Card Weekend against either Buffalo or Houston. We'll do more of that as the days turn into weeks, but just something to think about for everybody that wants to win the division, and I'm right there with you. May not be the worst thing not to win the division, but again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. First and foremost, the Jaguars need to clinch a playoff spot, which they could do if they win the next 2 weeks. More on the Jaguars coming up, well, right after the break. Luke Easterling, Athlon Sports, one of my favorites to talk NFL, AFC South, and more. We'll talk to Luke Easterling next, right here on a Wednesday night in Jacksonville. It's Hacker After Dark.
He's down on the ground. He is down. A freak injury can wreck a football team and affect their championship dreams.
Wait, you're telling me I'm about to lose my number one wide receiver?
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update.
Jacksonville.
On 1010XL.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Learn everything you need to know about the Jaguars on Duval Rundown. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Join me each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 9:04. You can find Duval Rundown on all the social channels of 1010XL.
Driven by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside.
Look around and we know you've got options for gasoline, but those other places, they're not in the business of more. At Shell, that's what you get every day. Members get more rewards, more savings, more special offers. You'll even get 10 cents per gallon off of your first fill when you sign up and save on every fill after that. Choose to get more and more with every drive. Join the Shell Fuel Rewards program today at fuelrewards.com. Offer valid at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, I'm worried.
You? Really? About what?
Well, I like to have a little seasonal potluck. You know, invite some friends and neighbors and guys from the office. But if the food gets spicy and the party gets rocking and that old toilet in the two-piece can't handle the traffic, well, what if my drain backs up right in the middle of everything?
Dude, imagine you're wearing my sunglasses.
Okay. Shoomp. Whoa.
If you're planning to host a holiday party and a blocked household drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, call us and tell us. The drain clearing experts at Bueller Air & Plumbing will unclog your drain for free.
You do that for free?
It's Christmas.
Yeah, but for free?
The holidays can get pretty hectic. If a clogged drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The holiday season is the season of love. If you're getting engaged now or just looking for that unforgettable gift for the woman you love, Beards Diamonds is here for you. This Christmas, Beards is proud to showcase the world's premier designers in both bridal and fashion. Like Sylvie, personalized, meaningful designs that enhance your unique lifestyle and personality. Celebrate your love, elevate your look, and shine brightly with exquisite jewelry from Sylvie. Celebrating 30 years of design expertise in both bridal and fashion. Beards Diamonds is the town center's local jeweler. So at Beards, you never have to settle for corporate chain store quality. We've put together our best selection ever of exquisite jewelry for the holidays. From the newest designer styles to classic diamond studs and diamond bracelets, with your choice of natural or lab-grown diamonds. Whether your holiday budget is a few hundred or a few $100,000, the experts at Beards will help you find the jewelry that reflects your love. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Hey folks, Frank Franzi here for Lee & Kate's Glass. Now with the holidays coming, it's time to update that dated-looking bathroom setup and give yourself the gift of a gorgeous new frameless shower with big, sexy glass you spend every morning and night in that bathroom. A new shower enclosure from Lee & Kate's Glass will look fantastic and make your bathroom feel like a luxurious spa. You'll love it. You deserve it. Request a free in-home consultation. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
You're gonna see a big difference.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Jets, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars 9-4 on the year, currently sitting in first place in the AFC South. Let's look back on the win over Indianapolis. Let's look ahead briefly to the Jets, and let's take a big picture look at these 9-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Luke, it's been a little while, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, Ryan. Always great to catch up, buddy.
Hey, Luke, thank you so much for the time. You and I had many conversations when Liam Cohen was hired here in Jacksonville. You are lived in the Tampa area. You're a pretty big Bucs fan in your own right. And I'm just curious, your perspective on year number one for Liam Cohen. 9-4, I got to be honest, Luke, I'm surprised, quite frankly, the Jaguars are as good as they are in Cohen's first year. What's been your thought?
Yeah, it's funny, man. I don't know that I'm that surprised. And I kind of said this to anybody who would listen after they hired Liam Cohen. I really liked the hire, and we joked about this off the air that, like, there are Bucs fans who are angry that the Bucs didn't fire Todd Bowles and keep Liam Cohen as their head coach. I just want to make that clear. Like, that was never, ever going to happen. You're not going to fire a head coach who's won 4 straight division titles so you can keep a guy who was your offensive coordinator for 1 year, no matter how excited you are about his potential. Like, that's just, like, that was never a reasonable outcome for the Bucs for where they were. But what it did when I looked at when Liam Cohen landed in Jacksonville, I just looked at what he had around him. And what I always told people was, yes, the Jaguars had the 5th overall pick last year before the Travis Hunter trade but were they one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL? Of course they weren't. If you looked at the injuries they had, you looked at the roster they had when healthy, I just thought they were way closer to being a playoff team than they were the team that finished the season last year, as bad as they did with the injuries they had, particularly with Trevor Lawrence, obviously. And I just thought that this team was way closer to being, again, a playoff team they were a couple years ago, as opposed to one of the 5 worst teams in the league. So enter Liam Cohen, and the hope is, we knew what he was as an offensive coordinator, especially those of us that cover, that follow the Bucs very closely. We saw what he was in year 1 as an offensive coordinator, and what he was able to do for the Bucs, the balance he was able to bring to that offense. They were a top 5 offense in both rushing and passing last year, which was massive. He also had a ton of playmakers to work with, right? He had a rookie upstart in Bucky Irving at running back. He had Baker Mayfield's best season of his career. You had Mike Evans. You had Chris Godwin for half the season. But you got Jalen McMillan, who had a great rookie year. The offensive line was really good. He had a lot to work with, but he made the most of it. I thought he had a great season as an offensive coordinator. So for Jacksonville this season, I was thinking, hey, he's got a lot of talent to work with that offense. The question was going to be, what is the defense going to look like? Who's the coordinator going to be, and what are they going to do to maximize the talent they have on defense? And how is he going to be as a macro head coach? This is a guy that had 5 jobs in 5 or 6 years, basically, and had worked up the ladder very quickly. But when you're one of 32 head coaches in the NFL, that's a very, very different responsibility than being, a position coach or even a coordinator or a play caller at any level. And so you just didn't know how he was going to handle that stuff. And so far, that part has also been there, which is why the Jags are 9-4. It's not just that the offense is great. It's not just that, Anthony Campanella's defense has been as good as they think they could have hoped. It's the fact that I think he is delivering on the hope that he could figure the rest of it out, the head coach type stuff on the way, and not lose anything as an offensive mind. And so far that's been the case. And all that to say, that's why they're 9-4. The gamble has paid off so far.
Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports with us here on 1010XL. You mentioned Trevor Lawrence, and look, Trevor, it's been up and down, and certainly there's been injury issues with the wide receiving core. I mean, Travis Hunter, who they were really counting on, has obviously not played in well over a month. But at the trade deadline, they brought in Jacoby Myers. And when they brought in Jacoby Myers, Luke, that really seems to me like it settled some things down in the passing game. Parker Washington, when healthy, has now been very productive. Brenton Strange is back. Tim Patrick had his best game as a Jaguar in the win over Indy. And then Brian Thomas Jr. kind of looked like the Brian Thomas Jr. That we saw last year against the Colts. So even minus Travis Hunter, all of a sudden getting healthier, this passing game could be pretty efficient here down the stretch.
Yeah, it really can. And again, you mentioned all of those other guys outside of Travis Hunter, and the fact that they're doing all of this without the guy they just traded up to get at number 2 overall in this past draft speaks to how well things are going there for that offense. But I think Myers is so important. He's been one of my favorite receivers in the NFL for a long, long time, and one of the more underrated guys, just because he is that stabilizing presence for your passing game. He's a guy who is, does he have elite speed? No. Is he the biggest guy and the most physical guy in the world? No. But he's a guy who just understands how to play the position mentally and physically at such a high level that he knows how to get open. He knows how to he's one of the most quarterback-friendly wide receivers in the league. And I think that is so, so valuable to a quarterback of any age, but particularly a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who is kind of entering what should be his prime and is still trying to figure out how good he can be and deliver on the hype that came with him as a number 1 overall pick and a kind of what he was deemed a generational talent, right? And he just hasn't been that guy. Myers is like a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief to a guy like Trevor Lawrence, because he's just a receiver that you can rely on. You don't have to worry. And what he does to open up the rest of the offense is great too. Like Brian Thomas Jr. put up numbers like a number 1 wide receiver would last year, but I feel like he's so much more effective in a role where he doesn't have to be the volume guy. He can be the guy who catches 4 passes a game, but those 4 passes will get you 120, 130 yards because of what he can do to take the top off the defense, what he can do after the catch. And when opposing defenses have to focus on a guy like Jacoby Myers in the intermediate range, and they have to deal with a guy like Brenton Strange who can do those same things at the tight end position and create some mismatches with his athleticism. And oh, by the way, you've got a ground game that is incredibly efficient and incredibly effective, so you have to respect the box. You have to respect the ground game, so your play action game is much more effective. It's just, again, even without Hunter in the mix, and again, you mentioned Parker Washington, another very underrated wide receiver who does all the dirty work, makes tough catches over the middle in the red zone, makes plays after the catch. He's a great return guy that sets them up with short fields. So much is going right with that receiving core, but I just think that, not to overstate it, but Myers is one of those guys that can be like that last infinity stone in the gauntlet, where you can be like, man, he just ties everything together. He brings it all together and stabilizes the whole room. I think that's what he's done so far. I think it was a brilliant move to bring him in, and I think Trevor Lawrence just loves having him in that room.
A couple more for Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke, when they had the collapse against Houston in the fourth quarter, losing that 19-point lead, it was the largest fourth-quarter collapse in the history of the Jaguar franchise. This thing could have gone off the rails, man. A first-year coach, a first-year staff, having something like that happen. And certainly that gave the Texans new life, and the Texans have ran with that, and they haven't lost since. Luke, the Jaguars haven't lost since either. And for them to go 4 in a row, beating the Chargers, the Cardinals, the Titans, and the Colts, and by the way, in 3 of those 4 games, Nick Mullins was in the fourth quarter because they have destroyed their opponent in 3 of those 4. Boy, what does that say about this team to respond to that collapse in the way that they did?
Yeah, I think it says a lot. And again, not to take anything away from Liam Cohen, because that's huge to do that as a first-year head coach, to hold that together. But it speaks to what I said earlier about this team being not one of the top 5 worst teams in the league, but way closer to being a playoff team already. There's a lot of experience in that locker room, man. There's a lot of leaders who are very well respected, who have been there through some really bad football. And again, to compare it to the Tampa Bay side of things, which is what I'm most aware of, is that Super Bowl team that won in 2020 with Tom Brady in his first season. It wasn't just about Brady. It was about guys like Mike Evans and Levante David, even a guy like Will Golston, a role player who had been there through some really, really lean years. They had played through some really bad football despite being really good players themselves. And so you develop mental toughness through those adversities so that when you end up in the situation where, okay, now we're winning and we've got a lot of high expectations that we haven't had, what happens when you suffer that kind of setback? What happens when you have that kind of crushing loss, that really embarrassing, demoralizing, comeback loss like that to a division foe, and you let that slip away? What do you fall back on? It can't just be a first-year head coach who walks into the room and goes, rah, rah, hey, guys, it's going to be fine. We're going to do this. Because there's no, they don't even have a history with that guy to lean on. They can hear that and do the best they can with it. But I think it's guys like Josh Hines Allen, and it's guys like, the core players that they've had on that team, even a guy like Travis Etienne, guys along that offensive line, guys that have been through the hard stuff already, that know how to come out the other side. I think the veteran leadership in that locker room has been instrumental to bouncing back and the streak they've had since that game. And I think that's a credit to the guys that have been there and been through some bad football and know what it's like to be able to bounce back and give them some winning football.
No, I think it's a great point. You look at what they did in free agency. Most people want to bring in the young, up-and-coming free agents. The Jaguars brought in Jordan Lewis and Eric Murray and Dennis Gardeck and DeJuan Smoot and all these guys that are veterans, and I think they have absolutely stabilized that locker room and have helped get the Jaguars to where they are now. Luke, as we begin to wrap up, you look at the AFC playoff picture, the AFC South, Indianapolis is obviously leaking oil because of what happened to Daniel Jones, and that sucks. Really unfortunate. Houston and Jacksonville seem to be playing some of the best football of any two teams in the NFL, and I'm just fascinated because right now, Mahomes would not be in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson would not be in the playoffs. Your top four seeds are Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh. Buffalo's got an enormous one against New England coming up this weekend. What is your thought on the state of the AFC as we enter the last month of the year?
My thought on it is I'm super excited to watch it. Just as a football fan, I think it's going to be a fantastic finish, and I think there are going to be a lot of great matchups, a lot of high-stakes games down the stretch here that are going to tell us a lot. I think from a Jaguars perspective, the only thing I don't like is I don't think any of those wild card matchups are going to be very fun at all. I don't think whoever you draw, even if you win the division and you get a home game against one of those wild card seeds, right now, if the season ended, you're either getting Buffalo, the Chargers, or the Texans. And again, all those teams are hot. All those teams, you either face Josh Allen or you face Justin Herbert, or you're facing a team that, again, you have a history with in Houston and that just executed that comeback on you. I think that's probably the matchup they would want. They would love to get some revenge there for that game. But man, this field is wild again, outside of the AFC North, which is kind of struggling through this year. You mentioned those two quarterbacks that we're not going to have. We're not going to have Joe Burrow either. That playoffs is going to be without three of the big four, not just in the AFC, but I would say in the entire NFL in terms of the best quarterbacks in the league. So that's wild. But what it does is give a team like the Jaguars an opportunity to make a run again with the Broncos and the Patriots already 2 games ahead of them with 4 games left. It's going to be hard for them to chase that number 1 seed. But man, if they just get in the dance, if they can hold their own here and win that division, get a home playoff game, even against one of those tough matchup teams, it's just going to speak to, again, a great job done by a first-year staff, both in terms of the front office and what Liam Cohen has done with that staff. But I do want to make sure enough credit goes to the veteran guys, not just the guys that have been in the locker room, but again, like you mentioned, the role player guys, the glue guys that they brought in the offseason on those cheap 1-year deals that have really raised the floor of the franchise, raised the floor of that locker room and stabilized it to the point where I think they can do some damage. I think it's a team that's very balanced. They can beat you in multiple ways, and they're going to play tough defense. They take the ball away on defense. They can win in good weather and bad. I think they're a team nobody's going to want to see in the playoffs, and I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville what you have coming out on Athlon Sports in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, so at this point in the season, I'm pretty focused on the draft at this point. That's my bread and butter. So I've got a brand new 2-round mock draft at athlonsports.com every single Tuesday morning. I'm writing up this week's as we speak. So check and see for Jaguars fans. You can check those out too. That's why I go a little bit deeper than the first round, so Jaguars fans can see who you guys could land in the second round. in those mock drafts. But I do a Monday night preview every week. I just wrote on Saquon Barkley for tonight's game against the Chargers, between the Chargers and the Eagles. I update the draft order every week, so if you want to see where the Jaguars would have been picking, every week that pick seems to get a little later and later, so it makes them feel better and better about that Travis Hunter deal. But every week I do a stock report to help you learn about some of the best prospects in the draft and some sleeper guys that are moving up the board every week in college football. So definitely check all that out.
Is Mendoza from Indiana going to be the number one pick?
I mean, the only reason he won't be the number one overall pick is if a team that isn't taking a quarterback picks number one. So you've got quite a few teams up there. You got the Giants, who just took Jackson Dart in the first round. You got the Titans, who just took Cam Ward number one overall last year. So those teams aren't going to take him. He will be the first quarterback off the board, I think. So right now that would be number two to the Raiders, maybe. You got teams that are kind of in that boat that's confused. Maybe the Jets would probably be in that conversation, but I don't know if the Saints or the Browns take a quarterback that high with the young guys that they just drafted, the way Shedeur Sanders and Tyler Shuck have been playing. So I think Mendoza's the first quarterback off the board, and whoever that first really quarterback-needy team is, whether that's at number one or two or three, I think that's where he lands.
Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for the time, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Hey, always a pleasure, Ryan. Enjoy your week, buddy.
The Jets fly into the First Coast, and Trevor's in charge of in-flight entertainment. Who'll win the air battle at the bank? Duval's determined to keep New York grounded.
This is your captain speaking. Better fasten your seatbelt. We're expecting turbulence.
It's turbulence and touchdowns. Jaguars, Jets, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL. 10XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Your home deserves more than just another coat of paint. It deserves quality that lasts. At First Coast Paint, you'll find premium Benjamin Moore products, trusted advice, and the local experts who help you get it right the first time. Whether it's your living room, your porch, or your whole house, First Coast Paint brings your paint project to life. Stores in St. John's and St. Augustine. One name Jacksonville Trust. Mention 1010XL for 10% off. First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
Advanced window tinting for your home, business, or vehicle using 3M Sun Control window film lowers costs, heat, glare, privacy, and security. 10% off if you mention this. Holiday gift cards available. Advanced window tinting, 262-9919.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, adorable mascot for Checkmate Coatings.
If you're thinking of refinishing your garage floor, there's two things you need to know about us. My family has been in the concrete coatings industry for more than 40 years.
And I was drawn 6 months ago by an artist in New Jersey.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, you said 40 years experience, so I had to give them something.
Over the years, we've worked closely with major manufacturers to develop a multi-layer application process that creates beautiful, durable, and long-lasting floors.
So even decades from now, your garage floor will look as gorgeous as it did the day it was installed.
Experience?
Check. Durable?
Check. Decades of experience making garage floors gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
This is the home of the Florida Gators. Get your Gators hoops on 1010XL. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The 12 teams in the college football playoff are set. Certainly maybe a little bit of controversy revolving around Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, that whole situation. We'll talk about that. And the coaching carousel has finally calmed down. Obviously, the big news locally, Jon Sumrall, the brand new head coach of the Florida Gators. Let's talk about all of it with Jesse Simonton. He's covered the world of college football for years, and Jesse's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jesse, how we doing, man?
Doing all right, Ron.
Jesse, appreciate the time as always. All right, you and I haven't spoke on air since Jon Sumrall became the brand new head coach at the University of Florida. First and foremost, your reaction to the hire that the Gators made.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of coming at this with every hire these days. I think you slap a big old incomplete and you kind of see how it plays out. You know, I think it's easy to kind of toss out grades, and a lot of folks do it, and I've done it before too. But history is kind of littered with so many of these examples, especially recently, where folks seem to think that these home run hires, whether it's Brian Kelly from Notre Dame to LSU, or Lincoln Riley to USC, or Tom Herman to Texas, Scott Frost to Nebraska, those were considered slam dunks. Whereas some people, Florida fans, in this regard, were pretty critical of Sumrall initially because they had such a thirst for Lane Kiffin. I like, if I'm giving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a shrug, I gave it a thumbs up on my Substack. Surrender Cobra Substack. I mean, I wrote about it. I think that, they got the personality fit. I think it works really well with the rest of that building. I know he's been obviously comped to Billy Napier because of the Louisiana, being from a G5 school in Louisiana. To me, he's more like Will Muschamp. And I don't say that as a pejorative. I just mean from a personality and a background standpoint. And I honestly think that if Will Muschamp had gotten, the offensive coordinator position right, starting with Charlie Weiss, which was kind of handcuffed on him when he took that Florida job, who knows what sort of head coach he would have been with the Gators. Well, thus far, the early return from Jon Sumrall is that he has at least assembled a strong starting point from a staff. I think Brad White's a really good defensive coordinator, spending a long time with Stoops at Kentucky. And I'm someone that's really high on Buster Faulkner. So we'll see, obviously, how long he has with Buster, because I think Buster's a guy who could get a head coaching job as soon as next year. But I like the early returns from Jon Sumrall.
No, I completely agree, and I love your take about Will Muschamp. Sumrall's the first defensive-centric coach that Florida has hired since Will Muschamp. And Muschamp didn't work out for a myriad of reasons. Sumrall hopefully will. And I agree with you about Buster Faulkner. And the interesting thing there, those are all the reports. I don't think Florida has officially come out with that yet, though. I mean, is that Buster Faulkner deal a done deal to your knowledge?
I think you're right about that. I do wonder if that's more that they're waiting to maybe maybe announce the entire offensive staff. I've heard nothing that makes me think that that's not going to happen or that it's going to fall through. Unless, maybe there's some sort of chaos where Buster does actually end up getting a head coaching opportunity as soon as this year. I don't think that's going to happen, though. So right now, I think that should be fine. And again, that's a really good starting point. Buster, he has an air raid background, but he's also shown he can really use the quarterback run. Obviously, Haynes King has been a battering ram the last several years for Georgia Tech. But Buster was kind of key, along with Todd Monken, and kind of really jump-starting that Georgia offense 4 or 5 years ago before they won a couple national championships. So really like the starting point there with Napier's staff, their Sumrall staff. And I think this is important for Sumrall too. He has embraced and acknowledged head on that, he understands the reality that he was plan B. And that's pretty rare And even I think even Scott Strickland, who I've been very critical of previously, deserves some credit for kind of not shying away from the fact that, yes, they did seriously try and entertain the Lane Kiffin dance. But, they kind of saw the way the musical chairs were going and they pivoted. And it's a credit to both of them. They kind of have embraced that reality and are now kind of understanding that, hey, in 2026, there's real pressure. I mean, Napier, for all of his faults, did leave Sumrall a nice roster. And now it's going to be up to him, a proven winner, 5 conference championship appearances the last 5 years, see what he can do.
A couple of more for Jesse Simonton. He's covered the world of college football for years, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010 XL. Final thought about Sumrall before we move on. I completely agree with you. Look, we're going to find out soon enough what the results are going to be on the field, but I thought that press conference he had last week in Gainesville, I thought that was a masterclass of a press conference. To even start out with a little Lane Kiffin jab at the very beginning, to talk about the offense and knowing what Gator fans want to hear. Again, I don't know if Sumrall is going to coach his way out of a brown paper bag, Jesse, but I thought that press conference last week was absolutely a home run for Sumrall.
Yeah, and I do think it. I agree. I do. I kind of laugh and I'm smiling, though, because so many Florida fans were out, immediately when that hire was announced. And then they were in, the seconds after he had a really strong, 30 minutes. And I do think that's really funny, that it just kind of shows how fickle fans can be with all of this because, they had gotten themselves into a tizzy for months, really, over Lane Kiffin. And it was Lane Kiffin 1A, B, and C, and then that D was going to be, a total bust. So we'll see. My last thought on Sumrall that I do think is interesting when you compare it vis-a-vis to another G6 coach who had been rumored a little bit around the Florida job. I don't think it ever got serious. I think Florida maybe kicked the tires. But Alex Golesh to Auburn, I do think it's very interesting to see how different those two guys have kind of attacked their new big SEC jobs. And I'm not saying one's right or wrong, but we just, kind of highlighted the fact that Sumrall, brought in Brad White, SEC experience, brought in Buster Faulkner, little SEC experience, but a lot of, experience at the P5, P4 level. Conversely, Alex Golesh has basically just moved the band from South Florida to Auburn. And again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I just think it's interesting that, Golesh has surrounded himself with the majority of those pieces that he kind of rebuilt that USF program, whereas Sumrall has kind of been, and even said it, he's not in this for his friends. Those guys will be his friends. He's going to hire the best guys he can. Just kind of two interesting strategies that, two obviously big-time SEC schools trying to turn this thing around.
Jesse, I want to end with the college football playoff. Quickly, though, to Florida State. A lot of Seminole fans are listening right now, and they're obviously not happy with the decision to keep Mike Norvell. I mean, basically, it came down to their finances, right? I mean, if they could literally afford to let him go, they probably would have. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, I think Norvell at Florida State. I think Fickle at Wisconsin. Baylor with Aranda, a lot of these schools decided basically, hey, let's kick the can to 26. It really doesn't save Florida State all that much money because they're still going to have to owe him, 40 some odd million a year from now if they fire him. I was surprised. I think it had to do with finances and also just the fact that, they couldn't get their teeth into a guy like Lane Kiffin or, another big time candidate that they thought was worthy to actually make that investment. We kind of saw the inverse of that at Michigan State, where they said, hey, we got Pat Fitzgerald lined up, so we will pay Jonathan Smith $33 million to go away. We'll see what strategy works, obviously.
All right, Jesse, let's end with the college football playoff. Look, I don't have any issue with the top four. I think that was pretty set in stone. By the way, Indiana, I mean, Cignetti's 23-2 in 2 years. I mean, that's nothing short of a college football miracle with what he's done in Bloomington, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I joked that they need to build them after winning their first Big Ten championship, and so what is it, since the 60s, going to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 50 years or more than that. I mean, they need to go ahead and build the man a statue smoking a cig, crown the man. And he, the fact that, 3 months ago, he basically turned down Penn State and was the first of any of these coaches to just walk into his AD's office and say, hey, my agent will call you. And, they get a nice extension and he gets a fat deal. I mean, he's going to be there for, I guess, as long as his career lasts. He's 63. But what an impressive job. I mean, those guys, they did not look like they were outclassed on the field at all, against an Ohio State team that maybe has as many as, 12 or 13 pros, this season. So impressive stuff by Sig.
Indiana's the 1 seed. They will get the winner of Oklahoma, Alabama. Ohio State's the 2 seed. They will get the winner of Texas A&M and Miami. Let's stop right there. Did you have any issue with Miami getting in over Notre Dame?
No, I mean, I've been someone, and I wrote it on my Substack, Surrender Cobra at Substack. I mean, I wrote it. I think it's the right result. I think it's horrible process. The committee was harebrained the entire time. They need to end this whole reality TV charade. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's no, because there's a lack of transparency, it has forced the committee to basically just have this mealy-mouthed messaging every week where, they can change. And I understand you should be able to change, but because we don't know how they come to various decisions, and then on Selection Sunday, it's boom, suddenly these two teams are next to each other and they can be evaluated head-to-head. I mean, that absurdity started when they were 8 spots, apart from the beginning. So right result, horrible process.
And then the 3 seed Georgia, they will get the winner of Ole Miss, Tulane. The 4 seed Texas Tech, they will get the winner of Oregon and James Madison. Quickly, Jesse, any issue with you that Tulane and James Madison got in?
No, I mean, that's the ACC's fault, because the ACC and the way this all happened, that's if Miami had handled its business, or if Florida State and Clemson weren't in the dumps, then we would probably not be in this position. I do think it's probably going to cause, another swinging set of changes, because, you're going to look at an Oregon team that's going to beat James Madison by, 4 to 5 touchdowns. So that I didn't have an issue with that, and I don't think that's any of the little guys' fault. I will say, because you noted Georgia at 3, and obviously the big talking point was Alabama not only getting in, but not moving at 9. What does that mean for conference championship games? To me, it's an interesting gripe that it's, do the results matter or not? Because not only was Alabama not punished, but Ohio State really wasn't punished either. Now, I think Georgia is probably fine with their draw at 3, but it's notable that they beat Alabama by 3 touchdowns, dominated the game, and didn't move. So do these games matter, or do they not? I think that's what we're going to have to find out moving forward.
Was BYU punished for the Big 12 title loss?
See, they were, but I also think we can be adults here and say BYU, got trucked by the same team twice. They clearly were not on that level. And even if there was a 16-team field, they would barely make it in right now. So their gripe, to me, kind of falls on deaf ears.
We'll hopefully have you back on around the time of the national title game. Who do you think wins it all when all's said and done?
I'm going to lean towards that semifinal of the winner of Georgia and Ohio State. Whoever wins that game, I think, wins the national championship.
It should be something. Jesse Simonton. Jesse, you mentioned your Substack. Tell the good folks here in Jacksonville where they can find your work.
Yes, Surrender Cobra. It's free. Come check it out. That Substack. You can find me on Twitter at Jesse R.E. Simonton. The link's there. So come join us for College Football Junkies. Lots of good content. Podcast there, too. So come check it out.
He's one of our favorites, Jesse Simonton. Again, check out his Surrender Cobra Substack. Jesse, thank you as always. We'll talk soon, pal.
Thanks, Ryan.
And thank you to Jesse Simonton for talking college football with us here this evening on Hacker After Dark, the college football playoff, the hiring of John Sumrall in Gainesville, the staff he's assembling, and the 12 teams in the playoff, how it all shook out, right? Miami getting in over Notre Dame. Did BYU get penalized by playing in the Big 12 championship game? There was certainly a lot to digest from the 12-team playoff announcement on Sunday, and we are 9 days away from round number 1. Of course, your round number 1 games, you got Miami at Texas A&M, you got Alabama at Oklahoma, you got Tulane at Ole Miss, and you got James Madison at Oregon. So we certainly appreciate Jesse Simonton of the Surrender Cobra Substack for joining us tonight, talking a little college football. Spent some time on that, but as you can imagine, an overwhelming majority of our time was on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were back at work today down at the Miller Electric Center. I was down in the Jaguar locker room. I like the confidence. I like the vibe down there. You coming off a big win over Indianapolis. You got a huge game against Denver a week from Sunday, and sandwiched right in the middle is this game against the New York Jets. But I don't think anything is going to be taken for granted down there. I look at this very similarly to what the Titans game was a couple of weeks ago. A bad football team that I think the Jaguars are going to come out and establish themselves pretty early and not give the Jets any thought, any idea of pulling off a big upset. Again, the Jaguars, a double-digit favorite at home on Sunday against the New York Football Jets. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM, and we have a ton of people to thank. Again, talking college football with Jesse Simonton of the Surrender Cobra Substack. Thank you to Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Always enjoy talking Jaguar football with Luke Easterling. Was down in the Jaguar locker room earlier today. Happy that I was able to bring you some one-on-one conversations tonight, and we will continue that both tomorrow and Friday. And you heard from my buddy JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com and Jaguars Radio. Always love catching up with JP